This is our transactions from the past week. Hi, I'm Bo, all by my lonesome this time. Wynn's not feeling too great at the moment, so it's just going to be me, but this shouldn't be too bad. Not too bad. A little bit of chaos, but not terrible. So this is the second week of October, which for us is June. Good grief, June. October 6th to October 12th, because we are doing weeks starting with Mondays. So on the 6th, I owed Wynn $86, so that came into the budget, and then his October 1st paycheck for $12.11, my September 11th paycheck for $16.59, and then Wynn took $85 out of gifts to spend there, and then I took $43 out of Christmas to spend, and then Snacky Snacks are dining out for $9, and then he also brought in his September 3rd savings account interest for $44. And then on the 7th, he spent $478 on the wedding, on our wedding. We are getting married on Halloween of this year. $238 of that was on part of my costume, and $240 was for desserts. And then I paid the minimum payment on Capital One, which I need to start adding to the calendar now that I don't pay this off entirely every month. Now that I don't pay this credit card off every month entirely. I used to, but now I owe over $8,000 on it. So yeah, I'm not paying that off every month. And then miscellaneous, when took out the $50 for that, and then the $20 for adventure. On the 8th, S&M came out for $50. And then on the 9th, I had automatic cash back on the Capital One card, so that was $25. And I just applied that directly to the card. And then I stuffed $680 in variable spending, variable envelopes. Then on the 11th, we brought in $2,900 from our tenants. Could have waited for next week, but the thing is, it's kind of weird. Like, the mortgage, like, we schedule it for the 15th, but like it shows as pending early, and I didn't want to mess with that. So and also this money, actually you have to transfer it into the account that the mortgage comes out of, because this isn't directly deposited into that account. So that's really what's happening. Just want to make sure that the money is there before the mortgage comes out. And then on the 12th, Wynn spent $49 on something enchanting. He said it's like a photo booth type thing. I'm not sure. He did it with the boys. And then he took them to Subway for $19. And then I saved $4 for Christmas, $28 for registration and license, and $218 for subscriptions. And that's it for the week. If you didn't know, these are the cleared transactions. I only record cleared transactions because sometimes they change on you. Sometimes the pending transactions aren't actually the final amounts. So I don't include those at all. And that is part of why things tend to be bunched up in the beginning of when I'm recording, is because some of these like actually happened late in the week, but they were pending and they cleared like the day of. So that's why things get like kind of crammed in the beginning of my tracking period. It's because I don't want to go back after reviewing the transactions. I don't want to go back and have to like put them on the date that they actually happened. So I do them on when they cleared instead. It's a little more cramped. I could technically like spread them out throughout the week, but it is what it is. Okay, onward to variable envelopes. So these are really just like, these are the categories under which I let the money roll over instead of just having the set amount. So I just keep it on this little spreadsheet here. For groceries, we started with $98, added $145, spent $79, so there's $164 left, which is the most we've had in groceries in quite a while. And that is because we kind of procrastinated on grocery shopping. We procrastinated on grocery shopping and then basically ate what we already had, which we should do on a regular basis. Like, now that I think about it, because we do have like extras of things. So we just ate what we already had because we kind of procrastinated on going grocery shopping. And then we ended up not spending more. So yeah. So now we have 164, which I'm happy about. Bulk buys started with 25, added 65, spent 60. So there's 30 left. Transportation started with 54, added 80, spent 20, so there's 114. Health started with 0, added 200, spent 11, so there's 189. Home shopping started with 50, added 35, spent 34, so there's 51. Birthday started with 43, added 5, so there's 48. Clothing started with 82, added 30, so there's 112. There's actually a pending transaction for this. This bought Win some socks, so this should go down a little bit. I think it was only like $12 though for a pack of socks. And shoes is steady at $279. Our shoes are not ready to go yet. I think I need to get Win some insoles pretty soon. It looks like his insoles are wearing a little thin right now. The last I saw in his favorite pair of shoes, so might have to get him some insoles. That's around $60 to get the orthopedic insoles that he likes, well, that we like, but this will do us for a while. Pet care started with 120, added 30, spent 150. So there is 0 left. It was like 149.55 or something like that. Cut it real close. This was making our cat's food. So we make our cat's food all in bulk. And it's basically, we get 6 big packs of chicken, and we get vitamins and liver, and we feed it through the grinder twice, and mix it all up into like homemade cat food. Cat loves it. It's better for him than kibble. Actually, he refuses to eat kibble. He doesn't think it's real food. He will literally play with it instead of eating it. Even if we try to like mix it in with wet food or like make it soggy, heat it up, he doesn't care. He doesn't think it's real food, and he will just play with it. Or eat around it, or just starve. He would literally rather starve than eat kibble. So we make the cat food, which is still cheaper than buying wet food in the store, but it is a lot more work. So, you know, give and take, I suppose. But that was $150. And we do this. We make his food about every 3 months or so. So it's not too bad. Wait, no. Is it every 3 months? I don't know. It lasts a while. And then personal started with 22, added 70, spent 20, so there's 72. Elphaba started with 376, added 20, so there's 396. I think I might have to lower how much goes to personal in the future, because if you haven't seen our template budget, y'all, the struggle's real. The struggle's so real. So I think I think personal's going to have to take a hit, as well as groceries, bulk buys, and transport. Home shopping, we don't really buy a bunch of extra stuff. And clothing, we really just replace what gets holes in it. And shoes, we haven't been adding anything to that because like that's enough for 2 pairs of shoes and a set of insoles. So like that's like that'll do us. I don't know, y'all. I don't know, but we've got to get better about this. Yeah. Okay. Onward. I'm still kind of frustrated over the template and how that went. It was not great. It was not great. You should watch it. You should watch it. Okay. Now, let us see what this means for the budget. So this budget covers October 6th to October 19th. We are just finishing the first week. Well, we finished the first week on Sunday. So we still have to go to the next week. If I haven't explained how this works, okay, so I know you're going to see this on Friday because that is when I post my transactions. However, I wanted flexibility in when we can record, because with 3 kids at home, sometimes it gets really hard to record the day that something, like the day that the time period's over. And we were really struggling recording on weekdays. So we decided instead to record on Sundays and then just have it be like the actual week. It's working out really well so far. It's much better. Like, we're not recording at 8 p.m. anymore, which feels glorious. Well, sometimes we still record at 8 p.m. But if everything goes according to plan, we don't record at 8 p.m. It's not too bad. It works out. Okay. And of course we can't record in the mornings because I start work at 5 a.m. and I'm absolutely not recording at 2 a.m. That's not what's happening. So this is what we get. Okay. So for week 1, his paycheck $12.11 is budgeted. My paycheck $16.59 is budgeted. Other income $30.55 only went up because of that automatic cashback on my Capital One card. And then from savings, $606, which was not budgeted, but it is acceptable. And then rollover was $481, which is great because we didn't budget for that. Total is $7,012. And then for his spending, it was not actually a whole lot, but S&M Collections did come out for $50, and then Adventures for $20, then miscellaneous. Instead of the $50 that was budgeted, he spent $118. Not my favorite, and absolutely needs to stop. And I have tried to talk to Win about it because his pay has gone down substantially since last school year. He cannot do this, and like, it's not just my rule, it's literally the math. He's making almost $800 a paycheck. Actually, no, around $800 a paycheck less this school year versus last school year. So like, there's literally no money. There's no money for this. And then his rollover, $4,534 so far to roll into the next week. And that brings us to a total of $47.22. And yes, I double checked this math and it works. That leaves us with $2,290. And then he is not saving right now because struggles are real right now. Okay. But he will be saving next month. But we just want to make absolutely sure that he's good for now. So dining out for me, this is my spending or my checking account. $9 as opposed to the $45 this budget. Fantastic. Capital One, $82. That was $57 for the minimum payment and $25 for that automatic cash back. I am going to have to start putting this like in the budget. I keep forgetting because I used to pay this off every month. I'm not used to it being in the list of my actual bills. So I need to fix that. And then $680 got stuffed in the variable envelopes, and the rollover into the next week is $663. Now, I didn't used to do a rollover amount for what's going into the next week. I used to just do it at the end of the paycheck. But I realized now that I'm doing YNAB as well alongside this, it makes it so that it's easier for me to check the numbers and make sure that the numbers are correct. So that subtotal is $1,434, which is more than budgeted. Not my favorite, but such is life. But it also includes the rollover. Budget remaining $856. And that goes down, oh, sorry, I'm yawning. That goes down to my saving. So what I saved was for Christmas, I saved $4 as opposed to $92 was budgeted. I only budget this much because I never know how much I'm going to be able to save. It's just random cards that I'm pulling for a little saving challenge, a card challenge. So $4 for that. And then $28 for registration and maintenance as budgeted. And $218 for subscriptions. Which is less than budgeted, but that's okay because we're just going in priority order depending on how much money we have. Subtotal is $250, and that was very much on purpose because I don't know whether or not we're going to go over budget. So I can't plan to save, I can't try to save all this right away, or I'd have to take away from it next week. So I try to go roughly halfway for the first week, and then hope I don't go over that. So $250 is saved. That leaves us with $606. And that is how much savings has been spent. So that was $85 for his gifts for Christmas. And then $43 for my Christmas gifts. And $478 for the wedding. And that all adds up to $606, which is what's left. So that is a zero-based budget, which of course does not mean our bank accounts are at zero. Our bank accounts never even approach zero, but every dollar needs a job, which this helps a lot with. I thought that maybe once I was doing YNAB, which is a budgeting app if you don't know, it's YNAB. I thought that once I was doing that, I wouldn't need to do a paper budget anymore, but I really do. I can't say I do need to, but it's a lot more helpful for me to do it this way versus just rely on the digital version, because you can always move money around in the app. But I like to compare to what I started with, the plan I actually started with. And then the flexibility will be reflected in the final numbers. But, oh goodness, I'm yawning. I'm sorry. It's early too. I shouldn't be yawning, but such is life. But I really like seeing the comparison between what plan I started with and then what I ended up with. It's really helpful to me. And I don't know, you're not my real mom. All that being said, I'll even say one's part. Budget beats broke every day. And never forget that you too deserve financial stability. And I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day on purpose. Bye.